Learn to be super successful. Subscribe to my channel, meathead. They'll say, actually, Mr. Peña, we didn't rate him that highly anyway. That's how a Brit stabs you in the back. We never rated him that highly. We couldn't understand what you saw in him. You know how many times I've been told that in Britain? 100. Because they get on tune. I'm on board, pull up the gangplank. Next. So you always have, and we'll talk about how you the board structure and how you send out the agenda 2 weeks before. We're going to talk about all that before the seminar's over. But when they show up at the board meeting, and we had it at the lawyers, but he's had meetings at E&Y. They set up lunches, and they do all this shit for nothing because they're desperate to get business. Now, probably for those of you that are in business, your accountant's never bought. Maybe they bought you a cup of fucking coffee at Starbucks. But what else have they done for you? Nothing. If you don't ask, you don't get. I mean, the squeaky wheel. Now, the squeaky wheel has become conventional wisdom now. Because it's dog eat dog for business. It's dog eat fucking dog. And the biggest dogs fight the hardest. And the biggest dogs are the big four. But as long as you have in the top 10 accounting firms, I like the big four, but as long as you're in the top 10, they'll have, remember, malpractice insurance that you can sue them for. Okay, questions about Andrews? Yes, sir. Both. It depends. Some of the deals have been assets. You don't want the buildings, remember. Because you're going to have to pay more for the business. They always want to shove the fucking building on you. And you say, remember how I answered it yesterday? That's great, and we'll pay you. I want a 3-year option. We'll add $5,000 for a 3-year option to buy your building at XYZ, blah, 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 blah. And that normally satisfies them. There was another question. Yes, sir.
I have a question about hub and spoke strategy.
About what?
Hub and spoke. So
hub and spoke.
Because Poland is not so big, so if I move to Warsaw, everything is basically 4-hour drive from Warsaw. So should I focus on?
Well, it depends. I'm not telling you. Fine. I'm just telling you, the first 2 or 3 years, I mean, you're going to drive yourself crazy running around to all these places. The easier you make it. Now, we've got a couple guys in the Midwest United States that have bought propeller planes, little planes, for $25,000. They're pilots. A pilot always wants to have a fucking plane, an excuse to have a plane. And so their hub and spoke is much bigger because they can fly these little twin-engine, what do you call it? Or one-engine, what do you call it? I'm not recommending that. But the hub and spoke. Because it's managing these deals, guys. I'm telling you, it's a bitch. And most of you, even those, some of you that have businesses, you don't know anything. You really don't. To have a little business that does $500,000 or $5 million doesn't mean shit. And in the cosmos of time, you're not the sperm that rolled down the prostitute's leg. All you've done is bought yourself a job. But now when you hold people accountable, and the good news about commercial lending is you're being held accountable to pay back the money. Okay? So in that, I like that part. I don't like the commercial banks, but I like the fact that somebody's holding you accountable. On a seller finance, maybe the seller will hold you accountable, maybe they won't. But heretofore, your little chicken shit businesses, nobody's held you accountable, have they? You do what the fuck you want. When you want. If you're Brit, you got to take a holiday, you pay 800 pounds for, or what's it called now? A staycation. What's it called when you stay home for vacation? What? Yeah. Fuck. It's unbelievable how whiny, not just the Brits, I like to beat them up because I'm here. But nobody's held you accountable. Your board will hold you accountable. If you don't get deals done, they're going to leave you. They're going to leave you. This system is built, remember, first of all, Sam Walton said it's about setting expectations. Second of all, Jack Welch said it's about self-confidence. Remember? But it's holding yourself accountable. What gets measured gets accomplished. What gets measured gets accomplished. And so far, just like nobody's held accountable anymore. That's an exaggeration. Almost nobody. And when 20 to 40% of all the businesses close down the next 2 or 3 years, they're expecting a unemployment of 250,000 people from the North Sea employees from Aberdeen. 250,000 people getting fired up here is a lot of people. The last time this happened, we had PhD engineers applying for Kim's job. Unemployment is going to be, and I feel sorry because it's like in that movie. You can't take the truth. The average human being can't take the truth. You're fucking right. And I'm a truth merchant. If I'm not hurting you, I'm not doing the right job. Emotionally. I'm not doing the right job. I'm being disingenuous. And I certainly, because I'm not here to make friends. I mean, well, how did you say it, friend? Well, you remember okay. But he's right about that because it's not. If you're, and you're not friends with your board members. You're not mates. You're not none of that shit. You got to be able to put a cap on a bullet in his head anytime, metaphorically speaking. And for those of you that have, just your family's a joke. Just fire them all. I mean, now Anelli didn't go through. He has 106 employees, relatives, yada yada yada. I mean, you're not going to build this dynasty, as they say in Britain, on a house of cards. I mean, you got to make tough decisions. And the better the decisions, like building a house, the stronger the foundation is, the metaphor, the stronger it'll be. One of the reasons why the pyramids have lasted so long is because they've got tremendous engineering foundations that they're built on. And now I'm not going to get into the aliens come down and make it, I don't know about that, but, somebody knew engineering 5,000 years ago. I don't know who, but somebody for sure. And those things are still there. Okay, what else about, yes, sir? Yeah, I mean, and like he said it perfectly, then you're excited because you finally found somebody a business to buy. Because then you get thrilled. You get thrilled, but but unless they're willing to really sell, we only have one moving part, and that's motivated seller. That's it. All the rest is moot. Doesn't matter. One moving part, motivated seller. He did, yeah, while he was still working full time, which is nothing. We got guys that make 100 a day. And by the way, and you're going to see the slide tomorrow or the next day, 1,200 cold calls to the first deal was Lucinda Burke. 1,500 cold calls was a guy named Dave Reeker. And 1,800 calls was Bruce the Whipple. All super successful. Put those, and so that parameters are one of the benchmarks. And 1,200, as I recall the slide, that's in a year. Okay, 1,200. I say you're going to do it in a year. So 1,200 cold calls, that's 100 a month, right? Okay. That's 25 a week, right? And I know you're not going to work Saturday, even though you tell me you're not going to work 7 days a week. You're just not. You're part Swiss. You're not going to work 7 days a week, okay? So you're going to work 5 days a week. So 100 cold calls divided by 5 is what? 20. I could make 500 cold calls in a day. One day. And now they got the headsets and all this shit, right? Fuck, I might be able to make 2,000. I'm exaggerating now. Maybe 5,000. I call every fucking seller on the planet in 2 days. But now they got all this shit, automatic dialers. And when I ran a boiler room, which would now be called a call center, we had 300 or 400 kids. And in those days, there were phones that you pick up, right? During the interviewing process, I'd say, what hand do you wipe your ass with? My right hand. Well, good, because that's the hand we're going to tape the phone to. We take masking tape. Everybody know what masking tape is? And we tape the phone to the hand. And I used to sit on a platform about 1.5 times higher than this, looking down. And if I didn't see and we had hot lights. If I didn't see the glitter on that motherfucker on that masking tape on your right hand, boom, I'm down on you on the flash. You're fired. You used to have to ask permission to go take a piss. And I recommend you don't take a shit because you're going to have to take the tape off here or learn to wipe your ass with the other hand. It's your choice. We had the strongest boiler room call center stats in the United States of America. In the United States of America. I personally had a 94.6% closing average. 94.6. Me personally. And that was the benchmark for all the 300 or 400. If you didn't close 50%, you're fired. If you got up to take a shit or a piss to me, you're fired. But we were selling motherfuckers. I'm a hammer closer. I know how to sell. I know how to get your fucking money. Whether you want to give it to me or not. You can do it hard or do it easy, kid. But I'm going to get your fucking money. I don't care if you need the product. I don't care if you like the product. As long as you got money to pay for the cocksucker, you're buying it. And he would say, why would anybody put up with that abuse, right? Baldy back there in the corner. They did. And they still do. Exactly right. Everybody there was driving Corvettes. They were living large. We used to pin $100 bills to the ceiling. Just out of you'd have to step on somebody's shoulder to get first sale. We'd put $10,000 and $100 bills on the ceiling. It'd be gone before the day's over. First making sales. And everybody wore, in those days, white shirt, American flag tie, blue blazer, and gray slacks. I didn't even think of that. 45 years ago, I'm still making them dress that way. I wish fear didn't work. I wish to God. It's a hell of a way to run a railroad. But fear works better today than it did 45 years ago. And nobody teaches this. Zero. If you can find somebody to teach, let me know. Can you imagine I'm being introduced by Anderson Cooper on CNN? Fear still works, Anderson. I'll choke the cocksuckers, but I'll make them rich. And you don't mind running around with choke marks on your neck if you're driving a Rolls motherfucking Royce. I know that for a fact. I will get the last bit of effort out of you. But if nobody teaches it, but you have had to have done it to teach it. People listen to me, and I'm a psychopath because I've accomplished a lot of shit. My shit works. There's no question about that. It's zero. It's how much you're willing, how bad you want it. How bad you want it. And Anders is, he will be, I would imagine, he's going to be rich. And he knows it. He even knew it for that first board meeting. He knows he's on his way. And now, 8 deals later, your wife will kick you out of the house. Get out there. Go out there and get him. Go on, kill him for Germany. Why are you lying in on a Saturday morning? When that happens, you know you're on the right track. No, Saturday morning, a lot of couples, they have sex on the weekend because the kids are gone. No, I don't need your 2-inch dick Saturday morning. Go out and sell somebody something. Another study we did here, how many women fake orgasms? Just made me think of it. I haven't thought of this in years. You mighty right about that. You'd be embarrassed. I asked the girls, when was the last time any of you got your nuts off? This year? Last year? Now, Jesus, I want to cry when I think of that. So half of you are by accident, and your mom probably faked that orgasm, because they don't have to have an orgasm. The little thing wiggles up there, when you think about the odds, 7 million, 100 trillion of the little sperm things go floating up there, and they're fighting their way, I can just see it, they're fighting their way up there to impregnate an egg. Sounds like fun to me. But you're going to get that thing. And it's secret, and nobody has it. It's not online, so make sure you. But it is. Okay. Anything else about Andreas? Yes, sir, in the back.
We should not negotiate deal in a seller's office.
No, well, that's sales 101. You want to do it at the worst case neutral position, a neutral office. Best position, your office, and you don't have office, some of you have office, or your lawyer's office or your accountant's office. That's your territory. And we're going to talk about the takeaway close in a couple of days. Takeaway close is, let's say we're at loggerheads. We can't agree. Fuck you. You keep the deal and shove it up your wife's ass, and you walk out. Take that down. Fuck you. Shove the deal up your wife's ass, and you leave. That's called the takeaway close. What? And that is Donald Trump's preeminent #1 closing technique. Fuck you, strong letter to follow. And it works. And it works. And I have done it plenty of times myself. We could give a whole other seminar, why does fear still work? Because fear still works because of insecurity. People come to me, and people are going to come to you to buy their company either out of desperation or inspiration. They think they're inspired because they're planning for their retirement. Really, they know that they haven't planned well enough because they don't have enough money to retire on. Do you realize at least half the people that are working today will retire? Their money will run out before they do. In other words, their retirement money, their retirement plans aren't planned correctly. And now, people born today are going to live 93 years. 93 years. 2020. 93 years. And there's no plan. Especially since now that the companies don't feel obligated. But another thing is, I don't believe that universal health should be for everybody. Why should I make sure that you can have health insurance? Why should I have, like Sweden, make sure that you can live? Well, if there is a higher power, I mean, did he say that in the stones, when Moses came down, you believe in all that? Which of the commandments was that? That you have to be financially taken care of by the world all your life. Which one of those is there? It isn't. And the kids today are, I feel for them, I really do. But I also know that that's why the world's ended. Anything else about Andreas? Who's by 5:30? 6. Oh, it's Chinaman time. You can't call a guy Chinaman anymore. Fuck. You can't say he's bald, he's fat, he's skinny. You heard Anelli says if they got a big ass, that's for him, remember? You can't say that shit anymore. That's where we've come to. Donald Trump says things that other politicians think, but they don't say. That's why he may not get elected this next time around. I hope he does, because economically he's been good for the world. As far as his social skills, I could have told you 5 years ago that he lacked a little in social skills, because he tells you what he thinks most of the time. But now he's curbing his thoughts because he wants to get reelected. I first heard when he ran, he's only going to run for one term. That's all he wants. He's going to fuck everybody over for one term, and then he's leaving. That's what I thought. That would have been a great exit for him. But I'm told the pull of power is insatiable. And, even though I haven't talked to him in 25 years. Okay, anything else? Tonight, 7:15? 7? Okay. You have your homework. You're going to have films tonight. And I will see you later. Thank you.